What is going on, Roblox, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be kind of a bumpy ride, so make sure you guys fasten your seatbelts. We're going to be talking about some of the things that players have been hating about the brand new Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn update. We're going to be going over a bunch of stuff that may make some of you upset. But before we jump into all this drama, everybody, I just got to say this does not change my opinion on Sonic Speed Simulator at all. I love the new update. I think it's amazing. I really do think that this type of update was necessary for long-term growth of the game, but I will say there are a few things that happened within this update that a lot of people were really upset about, and I completely understand it. Now, all these things that we're going to talk about are not just my opinion, everybody. They're from a lot of different comments that I've been getting over the last few days since the game's release. When it comes to stuff like this, and I get so many comments about this, we just have to talk about it because obviously it's a really big deal, and I feel like we got to have a conversation about it. Now, when a huge update like this comes out, the dev team doesn't have the time to do every single little test perfectly. They just have to do their best and figure out the bugs as they go. So with that said, everybody, I hope this brings attention to some of the things you've been experiencing. So these are the things that are getting players mad the most in the brand new Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn. So as you guys know, over the past 9 months in Sonic Speed Simulator, there has been a lot of chow that have come to this game. Some that are great, some that are not so great, and some chow that you have to pay for. Like me, for example, I bought a lot of chow in this game to showcase them to see if they are actually good for you guys to purchase in the first place. So everybody's been talking about how their best chow or even their paid chows are not some of the best chow that they have in their inventory. And that's actually something that we're going to talk about. So check this out, everybody. These are the chow that are so far my best chow that I have in my inventory. And one of my best chows, for example, is this Pocky. I don't know if you guys remember this chow, but it came out during like the Riders Amy event, and it was really one of the worst chows in the game. I don't think I ever equipped it once, but for some reason when Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn went live, this became one of the best chows in the game. A very high experience amount, high damage, and a decent amount of rings. And because this chow was so incredibly good, that got me thinking, maybe some of my paid chow are gonna be good as well. But let's take a look at this one, for example. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this chow. It was one of the very first paid chow in the game, and I don't remember how much it was. Let's just say it was 2,000 Robux for 5 of them, because that's about how much the paid chows have been recently. So you would think it's probably one of the best chow that you're gonna use in this game, right? Well, let's take a look at that. So if you look at this Pocky gives you 44,000 experience, some damage, and some rings. Now, the paid chow that I spent 2,000 Robux on gives you only 22,000 experience, but it does give you 8,000 damage and 2,000 rings. As far as experience goes, you're going to use the Pocky 100% of the time over this paid chow, even though you're going to take this paid chow into, like, say, a boss fight, because it does 8,000 damage. So the main reason a bunch of players are upset is that their paid chow are no longer their best chow in their inventory for every single thing they do in this game. And what Sonic Speed Simulator has done is they tried to make different chows viable for different things in this game. Like if it was me, if I'm trying to grind out experience, I'm probably going to use this Pocky because it gives me more XP. But if I'm going to go do a boss fight or grind some rings, I'm probably going to use this chow over the Pocky because it has 8 times more damage and 4 times more rings. Next, we'll take this Roost chow, for example, another pet that cost me 2,000 Robux. She gives you 8,000 experience, which is way less than the Pockies, but it does give you an 8,000 ring bonus. So if I'm grinding rings, I'm probably going to equip this chow. But the thing that's making the players mad is they can't grind rings and experience at the exact same time. I mean, for you to get 5 Roost chow that are evolved, you'd have to spend over $100. But instead, you could use this popcorn chow that we all got 5 of during the Prime event, and it gives you 32,000 experience, 2,000 rings, and you get a magnet bonus. So a player could argue it's almost better to use this chow all the time than use the chow that you spent 2,000 Robux on. Now, there's a lot of chow that I paid for in this game, including this guy right here, Tropical Chow. I don't even think I'm going to use it. It might be good for damage and some experience, but there's other chow that are better than this. Let's look at this Vampire Chow. 1,300 with 2,000 damage. It'll be great for boss fights, but I don't think I'm going to use it pretty much ever besides boss fights. And these stats are just not good enough to be one of my main chow. So this chow that I spent 2,000 Robux on is pretty much pointless. I mean, for example, it's better that I use this Full Moon chow that came out during the exact same event that gives me 60,000 experience to use all the time. And lastly, this Metal Sonic Omo chow. This was literally one of my favorite chow in the game. It was one of my best ones. Also, I paid 2,000 Robux for this, but these stats are just not even close to good enough. So once again, another chow that I paid money for is just going to sit the bench. So I can totally understand why a bunch of people might have been upset about this. Okay, moving on to the next one, everybody. This has to do with skill pieces, and that's the new way that Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn allows you to level up. So a lot of players are upset that they didn't actually get any skill pieces when Sonic Speed Simulator went public. Some people had thousands of levels of progress in the previous Sonic Speed Simulator. So I've been getting a ton of comments about players being upset that they didn't get any skill pieces moving into the next version of Sonic Speed Simulator. And guys, trust me when I say I totally understand that. When I first loaded into Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn, I had like 236 rebirths, I had like level 6,000, and when I came into it, I had 0 skill pieces as well. So I understand what you're saying. But guys, I will tell you, the new way to rebirth in this game is actually so much better for the game's long-term progression, because you actually have a reason to rebirth. You have a reason to grind out XP. As before, all you did was grind up, get a rebirth, and then that'd be that. You wouldn't use it for anything. So now there's actually a reason to grind out levels and trade them in for those skill points, because you can now use them for upgrades, and now you have a reason to play this game long-term. I mean, please let me know, guys. Am I the only one that thinks this? Are you guys extremely upset that they removed the rebirth system and changed it into this? Okay, moving on to the next thing that's got players upset at this game. And I gotta say this again, guys, because I really don't want you to think that I'm throwing hate on this game or anything like that, because I actually really love this game. I think the update is absolutely phenomenal. I think that's exactly what this game needed, but I'm just wanting to bring up all the stuff you guys have been talking about in the comment section. So the last issue has to do with red star rings, and this is something that I actually do agree with. Like myself, if you are a player who's completed every single event, unlocked every single character, and has pretty much played this game from the very beginning, so you got a lot of chow, you have a lot of trails, and you have a ton of rebirths in this game, you would think that you'd be rewarded a bunch of red star rings moving into Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn. However, when I first loaded in my main account, I had 234 rebirths, 55 characters unlocked, I had 2,200 chow and trail upgrades. It says I only had 8 friend enchantments, but I definitely had a lot more than that, but that's okay. Friend and trail fusions, I had 73 of those, and I completed 31 events. All of those combined for playing this game for 9 months awards me 950 red star rings. So you would think that 950 red star rings is actually pretty good for all the progress that I had before. But after playing the game for just a little under 2 hours and completing all 3 zones, I was able to get a little over 2,000 red star rings. So here's the issue that everyone, including myself, is having a problem with, that 9 months of playtime in this game, playing it every single week, is actually worth less time than 2 hours of playing the brand new update. Now that information right there, I think is absolutely crazy. 9 months of playtime is worth 2 hours of the brand new game. I totally get that the brand new Reborn update is not even a week old and there's still a lot of tweaks that need to be made, but guys, this is actually pretty nuts, because I think that players that have played that game as much as they have should absolutely be rewarded for all the time that they put into this game. For a lot of players that don't get a lot of screen time to play this game, for them to only get that type of red star bonus, I don't really think it's that much of a reward. Maybe they'll do some adjustments to the conversion system in the future, but this was crazy. It was eye-opening when I really looked at it and I really understood what type of red star rings I got. And if there's any GameFam employees watching this video, like I said, this is no hate on the game whatsoever. I love the game. I think it's fantastic. I just think that possibly the conversion system needs to get tweaked a little bit, or just make the cost of upgrading pets a lot less expensive. But all of you guys watching this video at home, what are your thoughts on this? What things in this update really upset you guys, and what things do you really like? I would love to know your thoughts, and I'd love to know what type of stuff that you guys ran into. Other than that, everybody, that's my rant. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.